This role play is for a class assignment and is not a real counseling session. So, what brings you in today?
Well, it's about family issues for me because like whenever I try to tell people tell my family what's going on, it's
Hmm.
like they just ignore me.
Okay, and how does that make you feel when you
Make,
get ignored?
make me feel like I'm a nobody or something, and make me feel like I'm somebody else to them.
Okay, how do you feel about what he just said?
To make a friend is to be a friend. If you're friendly with the family and you participate, you are a part of the family. So if you feel isolated from the family, maybe you need to join in and participate in the family activities.
How does that make you feel hearing what she just told you?
Well, it's basically too. I'm not talking about friends. I'm talking about like family in general.
Hmm.
It's just like last week, I've been telling my big sister about communications,
Hmm.
and with my mom too, and
Hmm.
cause they both got uh, pretty bad communications.
What do you mean by pretty bad communication? Like, what
Cause
do they
like,
do to make it
cause,
feel like it's
I'm
pretty
not
bad?
mad
because
at them.
no, it's not funny. Because
No,
when
it ain't.
my sister Christina,
Hmm.
uh, she told me during Thursday in the morning, and I was like, oh, she would text me early in the morning for something like this. I mean, yeah, she did text me, and then
Hmm.
she said she need me later on today. And then that day, I gone back home, and then she called me back during the last minute and said, "Oh no, we don't need you today. We need you probably at Friday or Saturday."
So, do you feel like you're kind of being pushed aside a little bit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
No, that's not the problem. The situation is you have to know that a lot of people as parents and older siblings have a lot of multitasking they have to do. And since Christina, your older sister, on her own wedding event and venue, she has a lot of multitasking she's doing. So she slips um, up by not calling you, communicating because when a client calls her and make another adjustment on the schedule, she pushes you back. You're just helping her.
Mama, she's been doing that since I was like 10 years old.
Okay, so what I think is it's really important for us to learn about one another. Don't just be in your own mind frame, but understanding each family's role and their position, and also knowing that our actions are influenced by what goes on in our family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you tried talking to your sister about how you feel and about what you expressed to us today?
Well, when I said it, she acted like it was nothing or something.
How did she act like it was nothing? Walk me through what she said or did not say.
Well, I really didn't talk to her to that much about it, but I was like, "You guys have poor communications," and then I didn't hear nothing after that.
Hmm. Okay, so family remains with us everywhere we go. So it doesn't matter what you do or where you go in life, your family will always be there, and things that have happened will always linger over you. So it's important to not necessarily dwell on what's taking place, but figure out how you can make the situation better. So, how do you think you can make the situation better with your sister?
Go with the flow.
What do you mean by go with the flow?
Things happen on a as need basis. So
Hmm.
you go with the flow and you take a positive approach to everything. Take a positive approach to it. See where you fit in. If it's a family, you need to fit in and help one another. Don't talk about one another. Help one another. You know, she has two kids. She got a husband. She got a lot of stuff on her plate. They're trying to work together. They just opened this new venue, so wedding venue, so you should be there to assist as a family member supposed to and participate
Yes.
where you're needed. And then when they grow, they just start out when they grow and they get very successful, then you may be something big to them, helping them out. So you need to help family and just participate. Family's supposed to stick together through thick and thin, up and down. You're there like glue. You're helping each other out. Like I do you kids. All you guys have a different personality, and I know what makes y'all click. But I'm there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here to help you out. If you say you feel alienated or isolated out from the family, it's because you stay in that room and you choose to be like that. when you I tell you on a constant basis to come out the room and watch a movie with us and participate. You say, oh no, that's okay. So that's why I say
Yeah,
to make a friend, you gotta be a friend. To be a friend, you gotta make a friend.
yeah, because that many times I try to watch movies and shows with y'all keep on talking over it, and most times I'm missing out what's going on.
When this happens, have you tried just again communicating with your family how you feel in that situation, not just alienating yourself and just leaving? Sometimes people don't know what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Does that make sense? You have to communicate things to people as far as this situation, watching movies and leaving, and a situation with your sister. So, do you feel like anything in your past is kind of affecting where you are today or how you feel today? Anything in your past?
Well, well, not really right now.
Okay. So, what do you think you can overall do better to make the situations you're having um, not necessarily dwell on you? What do you think you could do better as a person?
Well, well, I should. Well, as I've been trying to do is like tell my family about more of. We should talk about more communications.
Okay. And then another thing I was thinking about, are you a spiritual person?
Spiritual? What you mean by that?
Like
God in
believing
your
in
life.
God and doing the right thing?
Oh, I like God.
So, do you believe in doing the right thing?
Mhm.
Okay. So, if you believe in doing the right thing, instead of, if you think about this, if you're leaving and you're alienating yourself to go somewhere else, does that bring off a good image or a kind of a bad image to people? Do you think they're going to think good things or bad things when you do that?
I'm sorry, but can you repeat that again?
When you said when you leave because people are like talking during the movie or when you not try not to communicate with your sister, do you think people are going to think good things or bad things about this situation if you just up and leave or you just up and not talk to somebody? Is that going to make somebody think good or bad?
Well, think bad.
Okay, so you need to think about what you can do and what you think others can pitch in to in helping you with the situation. And also, that's where your faith can play a part in it. You got to think, what is the godly thing to do? What is the best thing to do? Not necessarily what's the human instinct to do, but what's the overall best decision.
Be more family oriented.
Does that make sense? How do you feel about that?
Be more
I want to
family
know how you
oriented
feel
and
and
be with the family.
how do you feel?
Pretty much be okay with them.
Okay, what do you mean by be okay with them?
Like I know they got my back.
Okay, so if you know they have your back, that's why it's very essential to make sure you communicate at every given moment how you feel or how you're not feeling, whether if it's something small or if it's something big. Because if it's something small, it can dwell or create a bigger situation than what it happens to be. Like something as small as you just said, watching a movie. That's small. Nobody think a situation will come out of watching a movie. But if you're upping and leaving and becomes a repetitive process and you get used to alienating yourself, meaning leaving and being alone, that creates a problem. And then you're probably thinking, nobody wants me around. Isn't that what you said at the beginning?
Yeah.
So does that kind of make sense of how you have to play your part as well as everybody else playing their part in the situation?
Mhm.
Now, what do you want or what do you think your family members can do better to make you feel better?
To not talk that much whenever there's a movie. Cause
But okay, keep going.
because when there's a movie going on and I have never watched it, they'll just keep on talking. They'll just keep on talking about it.
That's all the fun of the family. That's the fun of being a
I know.
family to chat to one another when you participate in the
More
movie. Now, when you go to church, like we going to church tonight, that's the time you don't talk.
Mama, I mean, like more the times when we watch movies, y'all just keep on laughing and all that, and you would just say, "Who's doing this? Who's that? Who's doing that?" I just pay attention and watch the movie and see what's going on.
That's your instinct, but my instinct is to laugh because all I ever watch movies. I'm gonna laugh.
So, what do you think you guys can do as a compromise to make the situation better?
Turn
Or
the TV
improve?
up.
Turn the TV up. What do you think? What do you think? Because I want to know what you're thinking.
I would just kindly say, would everyone please be quiet so I can know what they're saying?
Okay, and what if that doesn't work?
Well, I'll just talk a little bit louder. just.
Well, you do it all the time. You still talk louder. You do it all the time. Every time we watch stuff, you say, "Would y'all please shut up?" And we start laughing at you and you leave. Because we're laughing at what's on TV.
How does that make you feel if you're getting laughed at?
It really doesn't matter to me.
Okay, why do you feel like it doesn't matter?
It does. Well, I'm not gonna be like,
It's all a part of fun.
that too.
It's
That
all a
too.
part of fun.
It's just that when somebody laughs at me, it's not like I'm gonna come back or hit somebody or punch them in the face or anything. No, I'm just gonna laugh. I'm just gonna
You
think it's funny.
better.
Okay, so it feels like we're moving towards a compromise, so to say. She said kind of, I know maybe something small, but to turn the TV up and you kind of just sticking it through, sticking it out. So I think you should do that in everything that you do, not just with the family or just in life and overall in general. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as far as your family and in life, what do you overall think that you can do and keep doing as a person instead of going back into your normal ways?
Well, I'll just get over it. I'll just get over it.
Okay, but what happens when you just get over it? Don't do you think those feelings will come back or something else can make them come back or is it erased?
Oh yeah, it will just probably come back.
So
just go with the flow.
go with the flow. How do you feel about that?
I'll just probably go with the flow then.
Yeah, when we laugh, you laugh. You can always repeat, rewind, and watch a movie again. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Okay. So she's telling you don't sweat the small stuff. Do you feel like that's something small to you or is that something kind of major to you? Now that we're talking, do you feel better about the situation and what took place?
Sounds something small.
It sounds like something small. Was it something small before we started talking or was something kind of something that was really bothering you?
Well, something that was really bothering me.
Okay, so you would say that you feel better now?
Yeah.
Walk me through how you feel better. Why? What made you feel better?
To talk about it, like for how am I gonna do better on it?
Okay, so you just said talk about it.
Oh,
That's going back to what you said about your sister. You said you felt like she wasn't communicating with you and she was pushing you aside and everything else like that. So you just kind of answered your own question you answered it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it. You know,
or have a approach.
Communicate with it. Talk to God about it. Have you prayed about things like this? Maybe something small but can easily be resolved if you pray. Have you thought about praying and saying what you want to say when you pray?
Not really.
So what do you think you can do differently now? Would you want to try a prayer instinct into, figuring things out?
Yeah, I could try that.
Okay, so when you go through something, it's important to pray and it's important to communicate to your family and it's important to communicate with God how you feel, why you feel that way. And then you go in your head, think of an instinct or think of something that can make the situation overall be better than what it is and be better than what it was. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because family is togetherness, family is unity, family is love. And God's the head of the whole family. So you gotta remember unity and love and togetherness. Nobody can break the bond of the family if you stick together and you pray together.
Okay. And it's important that you know the difference between feeling and thinking and then using that to resolve relationships, whether it's a relationship with your mother, your father, brothers, sisters, niece, nephew, grandparents, whatever it is. It's important to counterplate the difference between your feelings and your thinking and knowing what to do and why you're going to do it that way. Okay. So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today?
I don't think so.
Okay. How do you feel leaving today? Honestly.
Leaving calmly.
Calmly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you feel about leaving today?
Wonderful.
Okay. How did you feel about hearing what he had to say?
Well, I have a positive approach toward anything in life, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just try different approaches. And I know his approach because you guys are my kids. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I thank you guys for your time today. And remember, when you're going through something, just breathe, just relax. Think about how that other person may feel and how you may feel if you do something differently. So keep that approach in mind, and I appreciate you guys' time today.